This is another one of those things where I'm like, this is cool, but like it's definitely what you make of it, you know? And I do feel like they could have done more. That's it. That's my intro. Hey, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about Universal Studios Hollywood FanFest nights. I just went last night with my friends Chris and Anarchy. Bought our tickets in late April, and it was $114 for the after 2 p.m. GA, which we wanted to do the after 2 p.m. because we wanted to go and enjoy the park as it was before FanFest night really started. And honestly, I do think this is good, mainly because you are already inside the park, so you do kind of beat like the crowd of people trying to just come for FanFest night. But we were pretty tired and we left around 11 because we were tired and we had been there since 2. Really quick, let me take a second to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. Do you have a business that just kind of needs something new and eye-catching, or do you want to start a business from scratch? Well, Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform designed to help you stand out and succeed online. Squarespace has a ton of templates to choose from, and they make it super easy to customize any part of your site with cutting-edge design. Squarespace doesn't just make it super easy to sell physical and digital products, but they also make it super easy to offer your services and get paid for it. And they help you make smarter business decisions with Squarespace's intuitive built-in analytics tool. Go to squarespace.com to get started on a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Also, kind of a good way if you have no idea how the park is laid out. It had been years since I had been to Universal Studios Hollywood, so going early and kind of getting the bearings of where everything was going to be for when FanFest night actually started, very nice. So according to the Universal website, a night of fandom awaits. Event ends May 18th. Don't miss out. Universal FanFest Nights, an all-new after-hours event with the fandoms you love in one place every event night. Celebrate with other fans the best of sci-fi, fantasy, gaming, and anime like never before. Geek out for real with in-world experiences, celebratory moments, themed food, and exclusive merchandise that takes fandom to a whole new level. Now, when this comes out, FanFest Nights will be done. It ends this weekend because we love going last minute. Never really intended to do a video on FanFest Nights, but then going, I was like, I should probably do a video on this. If I had known that I was going to do a video, I probably would have gone earlier so that this would already be out, you know. But then next time they do this, other times they do this, things of that nature, you have some bearing. The main thing I had seen going into this weekend for Universal Studios Hollywood in particular was the one-piece Straw Hats. They had actors, you know, as the Straw Hats walking around, characters walking around, and then the meet and greets and all that, and people posting those videos. That was the main thing I had seen. I really had not seen much else. And going in, Anarchy was like, I want to see what the Jujutsu Kaisen stuff is because I've seen no posts about it. So that's where we went in. We were like, we're going to find out what's happening with Jujutsu Kaisen. And then Anarchy was also very excited for Dungeons and Dragons. I went in very open-minded with everything else. I was like, this will be a fun night, maybe. First off, when we walked in, we just thought we just went to a line because no one told us where we were going to be going. There is a special FanFest Nights entrance, which is where you get your wristband when it's your time to go in, and it is 2 on the dot. This is just the GA one, but they give you the wristband, and this is what you need to get, one, to get in, but then also to stay past the actual park closing, because they will start scooting you out if you don't have one of these. And as I was going in, I was like, oh, do you know where the Jujutsu Kaisen stuff is? And he was like, oh yeah, show starts right at 5:30, right by the Kung Fu Panda. I think that's what it is. They changed it every night. And then as we were walking in, we were passing all of the One Piece stuff, so we were like, did he confuse Jujutsu Kaisen with One Piece? But then he had also said like, oh, it starts at 5:30, but I think the show changes every night or something like that. Okay, so I was like, what if tonight's not Jujutsu Kaisen? What it was that Jujutsu Kaisen was one little snack spot, okay, which I got, and everything soft pretzel, which was very good because I have been having some horrible soft pretzels lately, so I needed a win. A win is appreciated. Then it was that at 5:30 the shows would start, but it was literally a Jujutsu Kaisen like show in the Kung Fu Panda theater. That was really it. Okay, we had hoped that there would be characters walking around, but if there were, we never saw them. And Anarchy was very upset because she loves Yuji. Welcome to a world of sorcery. Watch this big screen adventure inside our DreamWorks theater, Jujutsu Kaisen, Hunger of the Cursed. Follow Yuji Itadori as he embarks on a journey from becoming the host of a powerful curse to learning how to fight it and other curses alongside fellow students. That's not what that is. I do not think that was a good, accurate description of that. Anyways, it's fun. It's cool. The chairs move. It's like a mellow 40X. It was fun. It was fine. But also like we went really early, and I don't know if everyone was just like in there because they were like, cool, something to do, or what. But like the only real reaction that like the theater got was when Gojo popped out. That was really it. But no characters, and it was cool. But I was just like, this is it. The end of the like presentation, it basically just turned into an ad for Universal Studios Japan, because this is just from Universal Studios Japan. Oh yeah, everything's in Japanese, by the way. I think I didn't tell you that in this video. Everything's in Japanese, which is fine. Okay, subtitles, no big deal. I do think this is just what's from Universal Studios Japan, and they did nothing else with it. They had snacks, they had merchandise. I feel like this would have been easy. Maybe they couldn't get approval for characters. I really don't know. We went to Super Nintendo World first. I did not realize that Super Nintendo World was going to be a part of FanFest nights, but we went to Super Nintendo World first. Side note, going at 2 p.m. also on a weekday, amazing. It was empty. This place was quiet, even for regular park hours. Like it was real quiet here. Like we walked on to many rides, and even then, like the rides that weren't walk-ons, it was a third of the time that it normally was. Fantastic time to go, frankly. But I've always been a theme park on a school day type of person. Had no idea that Super Nintendo World was going to be a thing. For lunch, when we got into the park, we went to the Toadstool Cafe. Chris and I got the like Luigi burger, okay, and then Anarchy got apparently the special Yoshi item, which was the Yoshi's fettuccine alfredo. So she did end up getting what that special item was. But apparently for Super Nintendo World, it was a Let's Go Yoshi, like Yoshi fan night. And there was supposed to be multiple Yoshi meet and greets. But then when we went in, I don't know if it was just later, because it was technically after Nintendo Land closed, because the ride had closed at like 10 p.m. or 10:30. The only Yoshi that was out was the regular green Yoshi. There was like a bunch of things where you could go and find the hidden Easter eggs, the hidden Yoshi eggs. And there were like crowns that they had, which we got. But by that time, it was again close to 11. We were like, we're done. We're cooked. Let's get out of here, you know? So weren't really open to doing that. Missed it. Oh, well, it's fine. We saw Princess Peach. I got high score in Mario Kart, because of course I did. So we went on, did a couple of rides. I got motion sickness. The similar rides did not bother me when I was at Universal Studios Japan at all. Apparently what bothers me is that here in the US, the screens suck more. I don't know. It was never the motion that got me. It was the screens. That's what made me violently nauseous. My motion bands were not helping at all. So that, or I'm getting too old for Universal Studios, apparently. I don't know. I never have this problem at other theme parks. Most roller coasters do not bother me. So I blame you for the screens. After that, we went to Dungeons and Dragons, which we were very excited for. So we waited in line. We're like one of the first groups. We're about to go through, and then it goes down. The music stops. We're like, oh, and they're like, okay, it's down. We don't know when. They'd brought everyone out that was already inside. We were literally like the second people that were supposed to go in to the next session. So we were like, okay, let's just wait. We waited like, I think it was like only like 30 minutes. It really was not that bad. They got everything up and running again. We figured it was something with the giant animatronic, which was cool, frankly. But we weren't sure if it was the animatronics or the doors opening or something, but there was some form of technical difficulties. Because I asked, I was like, is it a safety issue? And they were like, no, it's fine. Like, it's a technical difficulty. Like, it's not a big deal. Because I don't know, maybe I'm just like, have a little bit of paranoia post my, that one time I was stuck on a Smuggler's Run and I cut my finger. That's Disney, obviously, but I'm like, are we good? But we finally go in, and what it is it's basically Dungeons and Dragons. You walk in and you are standing on a symbol. Me and Anarchy debated over if the symbol we were standing on was a dagger or a sword. And she's like, one is bigger. I said, that's what she said. Turns out we were on a sword. We were in the fighter spot, which Anarchy was not happy about because she does not like being the fighter. The walkthrough spot is fight to save Waterdeep. Join fellow Harpers on a Dungeons and Dragons quest to save Waterdeep from the clutches of the notorious beholder, Xanathar the Beholder, in the in-world action-packed Dungeons and Dragons Secrets of Waterdeep. This was so quick. You also did not need to do it this way. We did get confirmation later that like it wasn't the technical issues that made it super fast. Like it is very quick. It's less than 5 minutes. But the cool thing about this is the sets. Every room is so detailed. There's so many pieces. There's so many, like you're in such a cool space and you're in there for 2 seconds and you can't even experience it really because the actors are talking, which the actors did a very good job. And this is not an indictment on the actors whatsoever. I think you needed more of them. I think what it was, and you could have had more characters, is that each room you're with like a different member of your party or something like that. I don't know if this was the writing or what. It was very confusing in like a way that like someone's going to be like, that's the Dungeons and Dragons experience. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. They were very good. I'm not criticizing the actors, the characters whatsoever. I think the execution of this could have been done way differently. And so like there was a time where Anarchy was like, quick, get a clip of me. And I was like, oh God, it's blurry. And then Chris was like, wait, get a photo of me. I was like, we don't have time. We're going. Hurry, it's blurry. It's blurry. It's blurry. I gotta get my footage. Sorry, you're out of luck. Dare you. You asked earlier. Anarchy said what would have been great is if like it literally was like we could walk through the rooms and then go through the story that way, which I understand would take more time, obviously. And obviously the last part is where everything's a little more scripted. The whole thing is scripted, but like, again, with what ended up happening with the Back to the Future thing, it's like, yeah, see, that's really good. And this could have been better. And then they're like, okay, have fun at the tavern. Tavern's nowhere near the exit. You're not in a tavern. They could have had a pop-up tent or something where it's like, sorry, tavern blew up, gotta go somewhere else, gotta go to the temp tavern, have fun, and guided us to the next tower or encouraged us to go to the next tower. The actual tavern was actually a tavern. I popped up there really fast, didn't get anything or whatever, but I got some clips and then left. But it's connected to the outfitters for Jurassic World. Which cool, which I get, but like there's just like little more execution things. And again, I'm not a theme park planner, but still very cool. Wish execution had been different. All right, so we just came out of the Dungeons and Dragons FanFest experience.
That was fast. Too short.
That was fast. I didn't understand what was happening.
The best part about that was the rooms. I wish they would have given us like some wander time in those rooms.
Yeah,
the actors were very good.
Minute, just 1 minute per room and I would have been happy.
Especially because some were like really dark. Even with the darkness, like it would have been really cool.
Those were deeply decorated. That one where I told you to stop, I was like, please get a video. I want to be here.
I think it's blurry. Then after this, we walked to the trams or the Back to the Future. The backlot tours, the studio tours, that's where this is for Back to the Future. You basically get on, you time travel to the real courthouse square. This, very fun. None of us had any real desire to go and do this. No offense to Back to the Future. We were just like, okay. We really didn't have any like motivation or goal. I was just like, I need to see this. I think it would be cool to go check out. Let's go see what it is. And then it was really, really cool. One, I already like the studio tour. It's genuinely one of my favorite parts of Universal for the few times that I've been, okay? Because I love film and I love film history and I'm nosy, so I like seeing things, okay? So I always like that. And then this is just a different route to get down to the courthouse square. Okay, so it's really cool to drive through all these sets and stuff. And then, sorry, someone I bumped into there just asked, Steven, I just saw your message as I'm literally filming. It was really cool to go down there and I'm just like, wait, this is like a lot. Like this is like a crazy crowd, okay? And we came in kind of like at the end of like the run through, okay? Because what it is that you're in the courthouse square and then there's different little spots that are set up. And then there are characters, okay, from the movie that are walking around and like at certain times doing certain scenes from the movie to bring you through the plot of the movie, basically. And so it's kind of like on a loop and it resets. So like they swap out the actors every hour because this does just seem like a lot, okay? But so we walked in right as like the big fight sequence was happening with Lorraine and Biff and all that, okay? And then they go to the dance. And so I was like, oh, this is cool. And so we're walking around. We talked to every single actor at least once, aside from Marty. We never got to Marty, but Marty's like bopping around and he's like really in it. So I was like, okay, well, it's fine. Do you need help? Do you need some help?
The building to see if the wire would fit through the tree on this side, but I think that there's too much foliage. It would definitely block the wire.
What if we the tree?
Yes.
Did you bring
No. Is there another location that would be optimal?
Well, I was checking the other side. It was very close, so I came to check this side, but this side's even worse. So I think that we are, in fact, going to have to go at the other side, even though the margin of error is about 0% for the chance of wind blowing it into the tree itself. So I'm just going to have to risk it.
But they have like a bunch of different sets set up so you can get photos and stuff. And it's just like really fun. This basically was a Back to the Future live. I had a grand old time. Okay, we helped Doc with the calculations. Okay, we gave him some numbers. Babs, we talked to a lot because Babs gave us a mission because she wanted to dance, okay, with, Biff's friend, but she didn't want to be around Biff. So she gave us a note to give to him. And then we gave it to him. And then they danced at the end. So I was like, by the time I was like, I know the plot of the movie, but I was also like, we did it.
Get out of my way!
What about Babs?
We're invested in this.
We're now invested in the Babs storyline. What about Babs? Very fun to see how other people like yes and actors in this space, especially like kids, met Harriet Potter. Okay, she was like, this is not a wand, this is a stick. You could poke Biff with it and like kept it go. She was very fun. By the time like the final scene happened before they go to the dance, there was this other kid that was like walking around with Marty and he was like in his own vest and he was like giving pointers to everyone and he like followed all the actors. He was like locked in because the actors would sometimes be like, wait, what am I supposed to say to like someone that they have interacted with earlier? It was everyone was very well done. Sorry, I was intentionally trying to create paradoxes. This whole set is what made the Dungeons and Dragons one feel worse. Because this was so good, you know, like this was so good, so fun. Our Biff was really good because he was genuinely angering. And at one point, Anarchy and I almost forgot he was acting because he yelled at a child. And we were like, whoa. We're like, listen here, do you want to fucking go? Very fun though, very, very well done. Lots of cool sets, lots of cool cars. They had a dog out, like a real dog out with the DeLorean, which was very fun. Definitely a spot to like kick it. They had snacks and stuff, like spots to buy food and stuff. We didn't buy any food from the food spots because we'd already eaten, but very fun, okay? And then you get on the tram and you go back. Okay, now as we were going back up to the upper lot, okay, they were actually filming at the time. Like they were, sets were happening, which I forget sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't just a theme park, like they're working. It was like a neighborhood scene. We saw literally nothing. I have nothing to indicate what type of production this was or which production this was at the time. We had to stop on like one of the embankments because they were rolling, so we couldn't like pull through, obviously, messing with the sound, messing with the shot, things like that. You don't want anyone being like, hey, you guys, you know, whatever, anything like that. But we were just stopped and it was like, Anarchy was like, I don't like this at all. And I was like, I really like this. This is really cool. Because it's like really dark and creepy at night. And it's so quiet where we were. And you just see all of these sets that are like low-key maintained, but also low-key like abandoned. And I was just like, I have horror movie ideas now. It was very fun. I enjoy it. I love night tours of things like that. I'm like, I want to wander. I didn't. I wouldn't, I couldn't, but I wanted to. Okay. Very cool. Very fun to see. We went over to Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which I don't fuck J.K. Rowling. We did get a photo with the Niffler. But I think that was really it. Cause like some things were like a show. Other things were like, obviously like the LARP essentially where you are literally involved in the world. And then you have the things where it's just like stuff. Oh yeah, the Wonder of Hogwarts Always, which we saw for like 5 minutes and we were like, okay, we're done. Yeah, encounter magical creatures, the Niffler. Oh yeah, Chris at one point was walking around and he was like, there's like a penguin over there. Me and Anarchy are like, what? Like a Niffler? And he was like, I don't know. It had like a beak and it was black. We were like, Niffler. Yeah. Then we went to Star Trek. Okay, Star Trek was later in the night, obviously. The Star Trek thing was like a happy medium between Back to the Future and Dungeons and Dragons because it was like right in the middle where it's less interactive, but you are moving and there's a natural pace that makes more sense than what happened with Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, I feel like this worked a lot better. And this worked better as well because like we didn't care to like hang out in the rooms. Whereas like the Dungeons and Dragons rooms, it was like, you made this too cool. I don't want to leave. I want to look at things and see if I can pick anything up, even though I know I can't because everything's glued down, okay? This was cool because it was like, it was a walkthrough and like you were going through different rooms, but every room had its own actors, okay? So like you weren't like chasing to keep up with them. You were just going through the rooms and they were like, quickly, like doing that. But it was because it made more sense. Like the execution for Dungeons and Dragons, like, I don't know, like the more stuff I did, I was like, I'm more annoyed at the Dungeons and Dragons thing now because I really wanted it to be good. And it was cool. There was a lot about it that was good, but I was just like, execution was meh. You were just literally moving through a play. Like the walkthrough, it was a walkthrough play, but you weren't stuck with the same two characters. There was different people, different actors in each space. And it was like, okay, go to Medbay and hang out there until we know what's going on with this entity. Oh crap, Medbay's been taken over. We're now in yellow alert. Okay, get to the transportation. Actually, no, you can't. We're going to the wrong spot. Now we're at the bridge. Rut-row, okay. And now we're in red alert, you know, things like that. Like, it was cool, but also each room, like the buttons didn't even work. Like there would be times where the actors were like tapping the buttons and it was like the lights not changing. I was like, I would prefer a purple or something, like just some form of interaction. But it also worked really well because it was like, okay, I'm locked in on what's happening, but also I'm like not caring to be distracted and stay here. You know, it was a much more natural storytelling experience and, you know, movement experience, in my opinion. And that's why I think the Dungeons and Dragon things, at the very least, should have had different characters in each room. That's all, okay, versus the two that are guiding us through. But this was cool. This was fun. Just very quick, a bunch of rides went down. Like a lot of things went down in a way that we had not experienced. Like even the Hogwarts Forever thing was delayed like 5 minutes for some reason. No idea why. While we were on our way to the Star Trek thing is when we saw the Straw Hats out and everything. Again, I'm not a big meet and greet person in general, let alone with a character, you know, anymore. The only time I've really done a meet and greet with a character, like where I actually planned to do a meet and greet with a character, was a similar FanFest night thing when they did the Avengers night, Avengers Assemble night. What was it in like 2019 at Disneyland, or 2018 or 2019 before Marvel Land opened? Okay, and they had a bunch of characters out, and I was dressed as Captain America, so obviously I went to go meet Captain America. That was the only time. I don't like waiting in line for characters in particular. A lot of times, though, the lines were very short. There was Wicked stuff out as well, which was cool, but nothing too crazy. And then the Straw Hats were like really interactive, obviously. These actors are all great. I want to make sure everyone knows none of my criticisms of this is the actors. They all did a phenomenal job. If you see this, ka-chow. I just think execution of some things where I'm like, overall, I do think there could have been more. There was a big block party setup, which was like a dance spot. There was a couple of DJ spots in different spots. Just again, not one of the things that I was like, would I think that this is worth it? It's worth it because you get the early access, like the early access in the time frame, like 2 to 2, pretty solid chunk of time, you know, for the cost. My soft pretzel was bitching. So I was happy. There was a couple of times where I was like, I want another snack, and then I just didn't get anything. So overall, would I do this again if they did this again? Yes. Would I do this in Orlando? Yes. But overall, I had a good time. There's just things where I'm just like, I wanted to like this more. You know what I'm saying? Did you do FanFest nights? Did you see me at FanFest nights? I kept bumping into YouTubers and creators at FanFest nights. Hi guys, if you see this, I don't know what was happening. That was crazy. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun. If you saw me and didn't say anything, hi. Why didn't you say anything? If you totally disagree with me about the Dungeons and Dragons things, let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I stream on Twitch. Reminder that Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder to go check out Girly Pop Go for all things car and motorsports. Shout out to my channel members. If you'd also like to join channel memberships, you can go ahead and click join out below. If you'd like to follow me on social media, that'd be all up here. And that's me to have all the day. Goodbye. I do apologize if I did create a paradox in the Back to the Future LARP experience.